Greetings, conquerors. Welcome back. It's good to see you again. I know it's been a while since we've been together. I like to space these videos out. Basically, I'd like to use this as just a pit stop while we're preparing to get on with our journey. Because unfortunately, a lot of times these videos and a lot of the things that we do in terms of prep work, we're just simply delaying getting started. Okay, so all that being said, let's just get right to it. Today we're going to deal with dealing with distractions. Okay, it's unfair and it's irresponsible for me to talk about all of the good stuff that can come with this journey. In other words, those of you who have intent on having a lot of money, I have no doubt that's going to happen. Those of you who are going to turn your whole lives around in terms of your living situation, your quality of life, the whole thing, I have no doubt that all of these things are going to happen for you. The problem is I can't talk about that without talking about the other stuff that we will inevitably encounter as we move forward in this journey. Okay, so if you'll notice, everything we've talked about are things that get us prepared to cross the starting line. Okay, we haven't fired the starting gun yet. We're still preparing to cross the starting line. Why? Because one of the things that we miss out on, and one of the things that we don't get taught a lot of times, is that, you know, this particular journey is going to have it's going to come with some issues. All right, so today is about how do we deal with those issues. Today is about not necessarily avoiding or tuning out the distractions, but just sort of how to power through those things as they occur. Because here's the thing, they're going to be there. It's going to happen. You're going to wake up one morning. You're going to be full of energy. You're going to be fired up to do whatever it is that you need to do. You're going to restructure the company, or you're going to move some finances around, or you're going to have a big meeting, or you're going to do something that's going to prepare you to where you want to go. And inevitably, the moment you're ready to move forward, life is going to show up. The thing is, life shows up without an invitation. It shows up without preparing you. It just shows up. And it just sticks around. Someone in your family will do something crazy. There'll be a health scare to come up. There'll be a financial issue. You have to pay for some stuff that you did not prepare for. Someone will call you asking to borrow some money. All of these things will happen, and you're like, well, do I want to do this? Do I need to do that? I want to do this, but I'm trying my best to figure out how to solve all these problems. Well, here's the thing. I'm not going to suggest avoiding any of the distractions or avoiding any of the stuff that's going to come up. My suggestion is that we do what we can to sort of power through and stay focused. Okay? So here's the thing. A distraction is simply something that it borrows energy and it borrows mental space from us. In other words, we're heading here. All of our energy, all of our focus, everything is facing this way. But then something over here happens, and it borrows space in our mind, it borrows space in our hearts, it borrows energy from our lives. And so what usually happens is we're trying to do this, and then someone is doing this, or something is pulling us this way, and so we're still trying to do this and do that at the same time. If you did not know, that doesn't work. As a matter of fact, I'll go ahead and be bold enough to say that it's possible that that's what's been going on for a long time. It's entirely possible that you've been trying to get across the starting line for a long time, but you want to go this way and life wants to pull you that way. Okay, so then what do we do? How is it that we are supposed to deal with these things? How do we move forward in life? Okay, so here again, I'm a believer in the scriptures. I believe in the Most High, and I believe in His Son, and all of that is a major part of my life. So a lot of references and a lot of things that I will draw from come from that. Okay, if that's not your thing, I'm not tripping, but it is mine. Okay, so there's a scripture where Jesus is talking to some disciples, right? And they were getting ready to go on a journey. They were getting on a boat, and they were getting ready to move forward on a journey. I can't remember where they were going, but they were going forward somewhere. There was a guy that walked up to Jesus, and he said, "I need to bury my father. My father has passed away. I need to bury him. And then either can we wait, or can I just catch up with you?" I can't remember what it says right now, but it's one of those two things. In other words, he wanted to delay moving forward because he needed to deal with that. But Jesus looked at him and said, "Let the dead bury the dead." Now, he wasn't being cold. He was just simply saying, there's really nothing that you can do about that right now. There's nothing that can be done because he's already gone. This is a distraction from us moving forward. I don't mean to come across as cold or callous or unfeeling or insensitive about what we deal with, because we deal with a lot of things. What I am trying to say, though, is eventually a decision must be made. Are we going to continue to let these things draw space in our hearts, in our minds, and draw energy from us? Or are we going to finally move forward? Are we going to finally do what it is that we're supposed to do? Because here's the thing. A lot of times people will continuously draw energy from you if you will let them. No matter what you have going on, no matter what circumstances you're dealing with, no matter what's happening in your life, people will continually to draw energy from you. All right, and it might not even occur to them what they're doing to you. So all we have to do, the only thing that's necessary, is to finally make a decision. Do I want to get there or not? Now, we're talking about this before we get started, because these things, these questions, these concerns, these situations are going to show up inevitably. And at some point, we will have to deal with them one way or the other. So the question is, or the question normally is, in a teaching situation and a learning situation, what is the practical nature of what it is we're talking about? In other words, you're telling me what we should do, what we should look for, but how do I deal with it when it shows up, right? Because a lot of times, if I knew how to do something, then I would be more apt to do it, right? All right, so as we prepare to cross the starting line, and we're all talking about dealing with distractions and not necessarily avoiding them, but powering through them. All right, this is the how. There was a very famous boxer that said, everybody has a plan until they get hit in the mouth, okay? Which is a true statement. We plan for a lot of things, and then the thing shows up, and we can kind of get knocked off our feet. First thing I want us to understand is, don't put any unnecessary pressure on yourself. In other words, don't get under any unnecessary pressure, okay? Don't spend money you don't have. Don't make deals or promises that you can't keep. Don't do anything that'll put you in a compromising position as you move forward. Why? Because as you move forward and something happens that you will have to deal with, you're going to need every ounce of strength, every ounce of brain power to be able to power through these things. All right, so again, what is the practical nature? Here's an example. Sometimes it's okay to tell people no. When you begin saving money, that's when other people are going to want it, right? And the situations may not be related at all, but you will begin to say, okay, I'm gonna set this aside for myself and for my company. And you start raising some funds, and the dollars begin to stack up, and then all of a sudden somebody needs something that's going to deplete what you are saving. And so now you're back at square one, trying to start all over again. I'll venture to say that's probably has happened to a lot of us all this time, which is probably one of the reasons why we're not where we would like to be right now. It's okay to say no sometimes, because here's the thing, people do not mind using you until you are drained dry. And then they get to just move on with their lives, and then you are sort of stuck in this position. Telling people again, I'm going to start a company, but now your credibility is shot because you've been saying it for years. You've been telling people I'm going to become a millionaire or do all of these wonderful things. See, they don't know the reason that you haven't is because you've been giving so much, right? All they know is you keep saying what you're going to do and nothing ever materializes. Then I realize, and then some of those same people who have these opinions are some of the same people who are sort of keeping you from where you want to go because they're the ones who are constantly leeching from you. Okay, so I'm not just talking about that. There's all kinds of distractions, all kinds of things that we will encounter as we move forward. But the issue is we got to move forward, not sideways, not this way, not that way, not backwards. We have to move forward. And if whatever the distraction is or the obstacle is, if it's deterring us from moving forward, then you probably already have your answer as to how to deal with it. If it's draining energy from you and it's not helping you to go forward, you might already have your answer. Because sometimes the thing that catches us up, the thing that stops our progress is trying to figure out what the right thing is to do. Do I handle it this way? Do I handle it that way? Do I give them this? Do I give them that? What is it that I'm supposed to do? Well, sometimes we already know what we're supposed to do, but we're letting a different part of our bodies or a different part of our being dictate our decision. Here's all you need to know. Everything that pushes us forward, that's what we do. Everything that pushes us this way or that way, we leave it alone. If we are serious about where we need to go, if we're finally ready to begin to move forward, okay, we got to be able to make some very tough decisions. This is the last thing, and I'm gonna get out of your way. There's a lot of enemies to success, a lot of them, right? But I'm only gonna throw 3 in your direction, okay? Number 1 is not being prepared. Number 2 is not having a clean house. And number 3 is moving forward on bad information. All right, let me illustrate this for you. There was a man who decided one day he wanted to go and help feed some people. So people needed some help, they needed some food, they needed some water. He decided on his own he's gonna get up and he's gonna go ahead and help feed some people. All right. Okay, so the first thing that happened was he got up, he got dressed, he shaved, threw on a nice outfit, went outside to his very nice automobile. He gets in his car, starts up his car, and then he realizes he doesn't have his wallet. The first thing is not being prepared. How do you go buy things if you leave your wallet in the house? A lot of us have not taken the time to get prepared, which might mean we're not really serious about what we want to do. If you really want to get there, then get prepared for it. Church people will call it speaking it into existence. It's basically very simple. If you want something to happen, prepare for it to happen. In other words, if you want more money, all right, stop buying things you don't need and you will begin to get more money, which means if you can manage what you are getting more effectively, that means you are effectively preparing your life for what's to come. That's all that means. Second thing, the man goes back into his house. He looks around and he notices that he left some clothes on the back of a chair. He left some dishes in the sink. There was some things that needed to be cleaned. He looked around and he realized that his own house was not clean. The second enemy to being successful is just not cleaning up your own house before we tell everybody else how to clean up theirs. It is an amazing thing to me that we can tell people how to do stuff in their houses, right? But then when it comes to our own, somehow we don't really know what to do. All right, if our houses and our lives are cluttered, that probably means our minds are cluttered as well, and we can't think clearly. So some of those decisions that we make is probably because of all of the clutter. If we just clear that stuff out, take those clothes, if they're dirty, go ahead, throw them in the wash. Once you've dried them, fold them up, put them away. Okay, take them to the dry cleaners, or even just put them on hangers and just put them away. Clean up your area, clean up your space, your mind and your area. You begin to think a whole lot clearly. More clearly, I'm sorry. Third thing, moving forward on bad information. That's a bad idea. Every time we move forward on bad information, we waste time, we waste energy, we waste resources, and we waste our credibility. Okay? Every single time. So what am I talking about? Let's wait, or let's make sure we have good information before we move forward in a project. That's all. Now, some mistakes will be made. That's part of it. Some missteps will be made. That's part of it. But a lot of us will do, the first person that says, let's do this, or let's do that, or you should do this, or you should do that, power, sounds good, we move forward. No research, no due diligence, or anything. We just move forward impulsively. That's a bad idea. That's a very bad idea. So, number one, let's get prepared. Number two, let's clean up our spaces. I believe we've discussed that before. And number three, let's make sure, let's do everything we can to move forward on the best information that we can. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm proud of you. I'm excited for what's going to happen in your lives. And the best thing about all of this is I will see you at the finish line.